Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel, OTV Football. First of all, I just want to say the support on the channel has been absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad to be making YouTube videos again ahead of this World Cup, and just very humbled. Alex and I both very humbled by the support we've received on these videos. Alex is going to be featuring in a lot of the videos coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. It's just been awesome to reply and read a lot of your comments, and it's just fantastic to see the support. And we're going to continue to push out content ahead of this World Cup. So make sure to subscribe to see more World Cup content. We're trying to take this channel as big as possible ahead of the World Cup and during the World Cup, and provide a lot of great World Cup content for you and analysis. Now, again, I've taken a lot of inspiration from people like Deadball TV or Jack, Michael Talks Football, HRV Isak, who, if you guys were subscribed to my channel when it was labeled Belgium Fan TV, when I was doing videos back in high school during like 2021, 22, I made some videos with HRV Isak, super cool guy. Zealand as well, tactical manager. So taking a lot of inspiration from them, and I really want to be on Michael Talks Football. He's doing a preview for each of the teams of the World Cup, and he's doing one for Belgium. So I'd love to be featured on that if possible. So if you guys could help out with that, I've messaged him on Twitter, but if we can, hopefully get onto that, that'd be sick, because, I'd love to give my insight on Belgium and do it for you guys and have a great video with him. I think that'd be awesome. So be really humbled by that opportunity if we could make that happen. Thank you guys so much again for your support, and I'm really looking forward to now giving you a kind of preview on Belgium. Now, I know the title might be a little dramatic. Is Belgium doomed at this World Cup? But we're going to get straight into this analysis on Belgium. And obviously, as you guys know, and I mentioned just now, I am a Belgium fan. My mom's from Belgium and lived in the U.S., my entire life. But the Belgium national team has always been, my number one national team that I've supported with, my family over there and whatnot. And I obviously created this channel, Belgium Fan TV, back in 2020. Now obviously it's called something different, but that's what this brand was built off. Was my support for the Belgium national team, and we've been through a multitude of different cycles. But now it's World Cup 2026, and it's time to get into this preview. So please make sure to smash the like button, hit post notifications, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into this preview. So just a quick history lesson for a minute and 30 seconds, probably. Obviously, so this channel as Belgium Fan TV, we started during Euro 2020, or post-World Cup, pretty much, heading in to the Euros, or the ones that, or I believe it was the Euros that was canceled. Obviously, it was renamed, Euro 2021. But that's where we started. So we went from the Roberto Martinez era, sort of recently, after I stopped making videos, when I headed into university in 2023. After the World Cup in 2022, we went through a little bit of the Tedesco era, Euro 2024. Wasn't making videos then, but obviously Tedesco sacked just after that, after the Nations League disaster, losing to teams like Israel, or finishing third in a group with Israel, playing very poorly against France and Italy. Just an absolute disaster. And now we're in the Rudy Garcia era, where he has lost one competitive match, but that is it. And we are heading into this World Cup on, I'd say, all right form. But there's a lot to dive into, and a lot of things I have to say in regards to the Belgium national team. So that was the quick history lesson, kind of where we're at in kind of the speed of things now. And we're going to get into the expectations and kind of the squad analysis. One of the biggest points about this Belgium team is I've seen a lot of Belgium fans on Twitter who might just have a bias against Romelu Lukaku, or their analysis is just that we're just fine without him. Obviously, if you haven't seen the news, Romelu Lukaku will no longer be playing for Napoli for the end of the season, so he's basically going to be going into the tournaments without any minutes, apart from international friendlies against Tunisia and Croatia, most likely. For me, the people that say we can be a top side without Lukaku, I think you are delusional. And not to be, denigrating to those people, or to put them down. I think is an objective fact that we have yet to score against a decent and competent defense. And I posted on my Twitter, you guys can see, we have yet to score against a competent defense without Romelu Lukaku. Kazakhstan away, 1-1. Both North Macedonia matches, draws. We play against Mexico, competent defense in the last international window, draw. Were outplayed the entire match pretty much. Second half, yes, players come on and do better. Didn't really have a clear chance. Lukaku scores a screamer to save us. Without Lukaku, I am not convinced we have the ability to score against good defensive teams. And what are the good defensive teams we might play at the World Cup? Oh, I don't know. Egypt, the masters of Haram ball. Brilliant counter-attacking side. My second favorite national team. Lukaku, I was talking to Alex, obviously the co-host of this channel. Lukaku literally would have been the difference maker in that game. In CAF, there is no player like Romelu Lukaku and Erling Haaland in terms of their physical profiles. Those are the two profiles of players with their ability to score goals and the pace and power that they have. There's nothing like that in CAF. Osimhen is brilliant. He is nothing like the physical profile that those two players possess, and I think it would have caused a lot of problems for Egypt. If Lukaku doesn't start that game or barely plays or doesn't play at all, I think the game is completely different. I think it could be a draw or potentially a win for Egypt or a win for Belgium, of course, but that's going to be mostly down to our wing play. Our wing play is where we are getting our goals from right now, but against teams, I was at the match in Atlanta when we played the United States and won 5-2. Against teams that have poor defenses, we are able to score with our wing play. You know, through players like Doku, Lukaku, Bakayoko when he's in the squad, Alexis Salamakers, Malik Fofana, players like that. We're able to do so. But without Lukaku, we don't have a target man and a pure goal scorer. I'm sorry, Lois Openda is not that guy. Love his pace. He can head the ball actually pretty well. He just cannot put the ball in the back of the net. He can't throw a rock into the ocean when it comes to scoring goals. I don't know why. If he was able to do that, he'd be probably a top 3, number 9 in the world with his pace and athleticism. Obviously, we have Lucas Stassen, the young lad who plays in League 2 right now in France for Saint Etienne, who are relegated. Good talent. Looked actually good in the Mexico game. I don't think he should start in the World Cup. I think, we've tried Trossard as well at the number 9, who a lot of people criticize because at the end of the day, he's not been great for the national team. His form at Arsenal is brilliant. Comes to the national team, doesn't do a whole lot. So, without Lukaku, I will say to those, who believe that we are a better team without Lukaku, I just think you're delusional. I just don't think there's any argument for that. However, it remains to be seen what can be done. And the second point I have to make is there's always some sort of excuse with Belgium and our fans as to why we can't perform at a World Cup. Or it might not even be an excuse. It's just the reality is we're incredibly unlucky. But at the end of the day, that's how football is. And you have to be able to get results despite injuries, despite things happening. 2018, Raja Nainggolan not included in the squad for disciplinary reasons. Euro 2020, Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, Axel Witsel, all out prior to the tournament. And come back, injured. They get injured for the Italy match. De Bruyne and Hazard specifically. I know KDB played. I was at the match in 2020. But we lost. World Cup 2022, aging squad, stubborn manager. We go out in the groups. Euro 2024. And prior to World Cup 2022, Lukaku hadn't played football in 6 months. People forget. And then Euro 2024, young squad, not really proven. Play poor in the group stages. Tedesco era goes out in flames. Poor, lose to France. This World Cup, what are the expectations? We have arguably the weakest group in the tournament, with all due respect to the other teams. And then they are even saying the same thing. Because Iranian and Egyptian fans believe they can top this group. Because Belgium, in my opinion, with all due respect to us, I think we are the worst pot 1 team. I think at best we are a high pot 2 team. I think that is where we are. I wouldn't say at best. I think that is where we should be placed. I think Switzerland and Norway are pot 2 teams that are currently better than us in the European faction. I think we're better than Austria, but Switzerland and Norway, I think, are 2 teams that are a little bit more consistent than us right now, and could definitely beat us on our day. Talent-wise, I don't think those teams are better. You can make probably Norway, actually, I think is better than us talent-wise right now too. But Switzerland, no, I think we have better talent than them. But at the end of the day, yes, we could beat both of those teams, but that's kind of where we're at. We're a high-level pot 2 team. What are the expectations for Belgium at this tournament? Again, easiest group in the tournament, arguably, even though I think also Group A, with Mexico's group, with all due respect to Jack and Deadball TV, I think that is easily the weakest group in the tournament. But My expectation in the group stages for Belgium is we should top the group based on the talent, of course, but I could see us getting second to a team like Egypt or even Iran. I could see that happening. We get a couple of draws or something, underperform a little bit. Would not be surprised. I think third or fourth is a disgrace. You do that, that's you're looking at Rudy Garcia as a potential sackable offense. The expectation I had in World Cup 2022, if people remember, you can see it on JJTV, the Canadian fan channel, when our group, if people remember, was Morocco, the semifinalists, Canada, and Croatia, who were semifinalists. And Canada coming into that tournament was also a very hot team. I said on that channel, Belgium has the capacity to win the group or to go out in the group stage. And all the Belgian fans, a lot of them, a lot of Belgian fans on that channel that commented said I was delusional, called me every name under the sun, because, they were still biased emotionally towards this team. You have to use, based on predictions, you cannot implement emotional bias, even within your own national team. You have to recognize the faults in our team. And at the end of the day, Belgium did go out in the groups. Not saying I'm like some super predictor or anything. It's just the trend. The trend was easily heading in that direction. We lost to Egypt prior to the tournament. We were poor in qualifying for our standards, and then half of our squad was finished. That was starting. I mean, probably more 3/4 of the squad that was playing or starting in the 11 was finished. And Roberto Martinez wouldn't make any changes. So for me, Belgium in World Cup 2026, I think the expectations are somewhat similar to what we had maybe in, I'd say, 2014 would be the most similar tournament. When I was 12 years old in Brazil, I think the players we have are worse potential-wise than 2014, but we still have good young players. Players like Mika Götze. If people don't know him, he's one of Ajax's best players this season. I think he had combined over 20 goals and assists this season in the Eredivisie for Ajax. He's brilliant. Watch him on the ball. He's fantastic to watch. Malik Fofana, brilliant talent at Lyon, even though he's been hurt all season. Romeo Lavia, if he is healthy, he needs to be taken into the squad. He is our best midfielder, I'd say, to be honest, out of everybody. When he's healthy, I know he's made of glass, but he is a generational talent. And obviously in goal, Courtois, Lamens, Penders, who's from Strasbourg, going to come back to Chelsea next year, Van de Voort, stacked in the goalkeeper position, right? I think for me, we have plenty of of young depth, not proven depth, young depth in positions. And I think the expectation for our team at this tournament should be to get first in the group. That should be the expectation. Second, if there's some unlucky draws, whatnot, I wouldn't be too mad about, because at the end of the day, you don't have to perform the best in the group to do well in the tournaments. Look at France in 2018. Look at Argentina in 2022. I mean, plenty of examples there. But the realistic expectation and how the success of this Belgium team post-group stage will be judged on how far they go in the knockouts. And I think the realistic expectation, going through the simulations and seeing where we end up, we most likely have an easy, a winnable path. I don't want to say easy, but a winnable path to the quarterfinal where we would play Spain. And that's obviously, a very tough match. I think there is potential, though, that we play the United States away, which I think would be a very difficult match. But a lot of the other games I've seen, matchups-wise, are South Africa, Turkey, potentially Czech Republic, potentially Saudi, potentially even. Senegal would be a very tough game, but I think actually we match up. A lot of people would pick Senegal to beat us. Most people honestly would, as an upset. I think that we match up quite well against Senegal, actually. But not be an easy game. But, playing teams like the Czech Republic, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, and then the next round, potentially playing the U.S., I think we could lose that game for sure. But if we play someone else like Turkey, I think we should win that. We play Spain in the quarterfinals. Spain, way better team than us, arguably the best team in the world. Can we beat Spain at our best? Yes, but we'd have to have, without Lukaku, it's 100 times harder. And we'd have to play, our best football. The expectations around Belgium are a quarterfinal is a success for this team. And I think, honestly, there's very little pressure on this Belgium team. Nobody in the media is talking about us. No pundits are talking about us. Unlike 2022, where people who didn't watch football thought that we were still in some golden generation period and then went out in the groups. There is very little expectation, especially after 2022, about Belgium. I think the expectation is how are Belgium going to disappoint, or Belgium are just kind of this, like, it's not even that. It's really Belgium are kind of this like obscure fallen off nation, high pot two team. They're okay, have some good talent. That's about it. That's really the expectation. So I think that honestly might help us. And I think you could honestly even label us as a tier 2 dark horse. That's what I would say. I would call us a tier 2 dark horse because I don't think, yes, we're on the level of a Norway dark horse who could, with how hot they are right now, they could go to like a semifinal, that type of thing. I guess you could consider Colombia a dark horse, someone like that. But, I think we're a tier below that, to where we could go reasonably far in the tournament with some of the talents that we have, and if we're fully firing, for sure. But other things about this Belgium team, what to expect. Again, dynamic, free-flowing football. We play well. I don't think we're a particularly great side against low blocks and defensive sides, and we need Lukaku, and I think that is the main narrative. The thing is, we cannot, in 2026, I'm honestly tempted. I tweeted out, I think it's a little reactionary, but having Yuri Tielemans start for this Belgium team, he can only start in a three-man midfield. He cannot start in a double pivot. He is too slow. Love the guy. Brilliant final product, brilliant long shots, good passer. He is so slow. Witsel as well. Axel Witsel, one of the best servants ever for Belgium. Love the guy. One of my favorite players ever. He's too old now. I don't think he should be on the plane. I hear the argument about the leadership qualities. We have plenty of players in the dressing room that can also lead. And honestly, Witsel, yes, he is he is a good leader too. I wouldn't hate the call up, but we need as much depth as possible. You look at teams like France and Spain. I mean, they're 16, 20 men deep. I mean, they really are that good. So we need as much depth as possible that's able to play at a high level. And I think that's the key for Belgium. And we need to be healthy. And I think with the young talents that we have, players like potentially Lavia coming into the side. I love Maxime de Kuiper at left back. I like our new center backs, Zeno de Bas, who's obviously been in the national team for a while, but Koeni de Winter, who I think is a young player, has mistakes in him, is getting better at AC Milan. Nathan Ngoy from Lille. I don't think Meshela and Teata can start at this rate. I think we need some young blood in the defense. And I don't mind I think Thomas Meunier is still our best right back. But I think there is potential for Belgium to do all right in this tournament and to make at least a more impressive stamp than people think, with our lineup. We even in the midfield, players like Hans van Aken, who has been outshined by the golden generation, playing in some of the best Belgium teams, best national teams talent-wise ever. He didn't have quite the confidence, and he was one of the best players in the Pro League for those years. He's 33, 34 years old now. And the way this guy plays for us, I mean, he's brilliant. I would honestly argue that, yes, he should start most of our games for us. He's that good. Kevin De Bruyne, is he the same player as he used to be? No, but still does have a lot of the final product qualities in moments. I think if Belgium is... So what needs to happen for Belgium to go deep into this tournament? What are the factors that cause Belgium from going from a group stage team to that plays all right in the group stage and loses a tough game to the U.S. or a decent European opponent or an African opponent, whoever we play early in the knockouts? What causes us to go deep in the tournament and challenge? And there's a few things. Lukaku needs to be healthy, as I mentioned, and I think playing. And if he's not, we need to find a way to score goals. So that's one. Two, Jeremy Doku. He's the X factor. If Doku has a James Rodriguez type World Cup where, I keep saying this, I was at Euro 2020 when he made his debut on the world stage and became this brilliant top player. If he finally figures out the final product to no end and starts banging in goals consistently, there's a chance that it takes Belgium up another level. I mean, you're really going to start, if he has like a James Rodriguez type World Cup, this team could be very dangerous. Players like Romeo Lavia, if he's starting in the World Cup because of how brilliant he is, he's our best midfielder, I would say, when he's healthy, changes the dynamic of the squad. If Courtois stands on his head, if our defense, with our young blood, if they are able to play at a higher level than we expect, you could see things. Of course, being a Belgium fan, what is the one thing Belgium has never been able to defend? And I'll give like 2 seconds for you guys to write down the comments before I answer this. It's set pieces. Under Wilmots, Roberto Martinez, Domenico Tedesco, Rudy Garcia, no matter who the manager is, we have not been able to defend set pieces as a national team, and especially under the Rudy Garcia tenure, and as our defense has gotten worse over the last, 8 years, I'd say. So we need to be able to defend set pieces in this tournament if there's any hope of us going deep into the tournament as well. And who's a team that we're playing that's good on set pieces? Oh, I don't know. Egypt. Who's good at low blocks? Egypt. I think we need these kind of the alarm bells. I don't think Egypt's like the most insane set piece team or best low block team, but they have a pretty vicious low block. So those are kind of the key factors, I would say, in Belgium going deep into this tournament. And we need all of those players healthy and firing and our defense playing well. And we just need to be able to score goals against competent defenses. Oh, out of all the keys, as I've said, the Lukaku narrative, that is the biggest thing. Without Lukaku, how are we going to be able to score goals against competent defenses? That is the biggest question Belgium must answer. The set pieces, yes, number 2 most important. Doku having the tournament of his life, yes, number 2 most important. Lavia, defense, yes. But at the end of the day, it is scoring goals against competent defenses. That is what we need to be able to do. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below on my analysis on Belgium. How deep can we go? How deep can Belgium go in this tournament? Let me know what you guys think. And again, would love to feature Michael Talks Football's channel on this preview of Belgium to discuss this with him. And thank you guys so much for your support. God bless you all. I wish you guys a very happy weekend. And let me know and hit post notifications. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.